Heath here from pickinglessons.com. In this banjo lesson, we're going to take a look at an arrangement of the Back Side of Albany. There are two variations in the arrangement. We have a melodic version played up the neck, and then we have more of a single string version played down the neck with some melodic in there as well. In a moment, we're going to take a look at the first part of the melodic arrangement, part A of the melodic here in this lesson. But if you head to pickinglessons.com, you'll be able to get yourself a copy of the chart that we're working from. It has all the variations in there. You'll also find in the members section the next part of this lesson where we break down the remainder of the parts B and then the A and B variation as well. You've also got some MP3 backing tracks and play along tracks there. pickinglessons.com. Okay, so let's start out with a slow playthrough of the first A variation. Then we'll break it down, talk about the techniques we're using, and have a look at some exercises to help us learn the tune. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there's part A of the melodic arrangement of the Back Side of Albany. Now, we're in the key of E minor, a Dorian mode actually. So in the key signature, you've got an F sharp and a C sharp, but we can play that out of open G tuning. Works just great. Now, this first variation is played really up the neck in a melodic position. So let's have a look at some of those positions we're working from. Initially, we're starting out at that 9th fret with our first finger, and our second finger is going to take that 2nd fret. We're going to need our thumb as well to come over on fret 11. This first opening measure into measure 2 is something you really want to work on as you get to know the tune. It's a little bit fiddly for the fingers. Let's just run through it slowly first. The opening 2 measures there. Now the trick with this is firstly to make sure you've got this position ready. So you've got your first finger, your second finger, your little finger's going to come in, your thumb's going to play fret 11 there on string 5. So if we look at the first 7 notes there in the first measure, we're starting off with the middle finger, then the thumb to the middle, and then thumb on string 5, and middle finger back to string 1 for that little finger. So left hand finger is really important. So finger 1, finger 2, the thumb, and the little finger. Up next though, the third finger is going to come in to fret 12, and your thumb's going to play that. That's really important. So the thumb's got to play that note because the next note we need, which is on the same string, needs to be played with the index finger. So measure 1. Finishing there, and we're kind of going to move into our first finger next there on fret 10 of string 2. That's going to be played with the index finger though. So right hand, middle finger, thumb, middle finger, thumb, middle finger, thumb to that 12th fret there on string 2. I would practice that measure probably more than the rest of these bars in part A. You'll find that's the most challenging for the left hand, and you've also got to make sure that right hand follows what we've got in there in the notation. Otherwise you'll find that you'll trip yourself up. There is not really any other way of doing this, particularly that crossover between measure 1 into measure 2. So speaking of which, let's have a look at that next note. So coming out of measure 1 into the first note of measure 2, that first finger has got to be the index finger because your thumb's going to play next on the high G. That's really important. If you've played that string there with your thumb, perhaps, you're going to get stuck to play string 5. So really keep an eye on those fingers. Once we've played that note though, a nice simple melodic passage there. So string 5, first finger over to fret 7, thumb down to that 9th fret there, open string, third finger with your index finger in the right hand there for that final note. Measures 1 and 2, 3, 4. Okay, so practice that up. Really make sure you've got the fingers in your left hand in the right position, but the right hand, make sure the right hand fingers are also picking the correct strings, otherwise you will get muddled up in there. Practice that one up. Put more attention on those first 2 measures than the rest of it. The rest of it's going to be pretty straightforward. So let's move on. Moving into measure 3. So pretty much we're holding this chord shape here. The roll is pretty straightforward, and then finishing off there is pretty straightforward as well. Let's just run just slowly the first 4 measures. 3, 4. Again, practice those first 2 measures, but once you get that, the rest is going to be a little bit easier. Let's have a look at the next half of this tune. From that pickup note at the end of measure 4, and then the final 2 measures are actually the same as measures 3 and 4. So let's work on that. So end of measure 4, pickup note with your thumb, and then those 3 notes really just 3rd finger, 1st and 3rd. And then little finger comes in, thumb, middle thumb, moving down into fret 9 in measure 6, and this is a straight old backward roll. Again, these last 2 measures are like we find in measures 3 and 4. So again, working on those first 2 measures mainly, that's the hard one. That hand position, work on that hand position with your thumb over the neck, holding your 1st, 2nd and 4th fingers. Just working on that hand position there will really help. It will really help you get around what's happening in that 1st and 2nd measures. Just get used to holding that position. Okay, so work on part A, but if you head to pickinglessons.com, you will find the tablature that we've been working from has all the finger marks in there for both hands, and you'll also find in the members section the next part of this lesson. We're going to break down part B of this melodic arrangement, then we'll jump into the single string version in part A, and then we'll look at what happens after that, which is kind of a combination of melodic and single string as well. So pickinglessons.com, I'll see you there.